Credit cards are powerful tools for building wealth, earning rewards, and unlocking special perks. After all, that's the entire point of this channel. However, there are times when applying for a credit card can be a terrible idea. In this video, I'm going to break down 9 instances when you should never ever apply for a credit card if one of these applies to you. Let's dive right in. Number 1 right off the bat is lining up to apply for a top tier credit card when your credit score is less than top tier. So I do a credit card consulting for viewers of this channel. It's free and there's just a link down in the description to fill that out if you want to talk more on a personalized level about what your credit situation is and what cards may be best for you. Through that, you would be extremely surprised about the number of people with a subpar score that are targeting some of the most exclusive credit cards out there. And the reality is, if your credit score is lower, specifically below 600, most of the credit cards that I talk about on this channel are just not for you. At least, not yet. If you have a low credit score, the best route to take is stick with your existing lineup, pay bills on time, and work to decrease your credit utilization. If you have to get a credit card, the low-hanging fruit, the $0 cashback cards that have a high acceptance rate are gonna be your best route forward. Payment history accounts for 35% of your FICO score, meaning that if you can make consistent on-time payments, you're going to start to shift things in your score. And you'll signal to lenders that you're improving your credit worthiness. If you have to open another card for your situation, Capital One is a lender that has multiple versions of the same card, however, with lower requirements for approval. These cards are going to come with lower rewards, but that just makes sense. Capital One is taking on an increased risk with you as a potential lender. Once your score improves, then you're going to open up much better options. Situation number 2 is if you have a high credit utilization or you're carrying existing debt. I would never recommend someone who doesn't have their current credit utilization or is carrying a balance on one of their current cards in their wallet setup to then apply for another one and open the door to more credit. This is because in the credit card rewards community, we work on the margins. Everything is about getting 3% or turning that into a 4x redemption through transfer partners and kind of working the bonuses the best that we can to actually gain value from the banks instead of the other way around. In any of these circumstances, when you add the factor of paying an interest on an existing balance, that destroys everything we talk about in this community. If you currently hold a balance on your credit cards, well, you're not alone. Research came out recently that Americans' total credit card debt hit $1.16 trillion in the third quarter of 2024. That's up from $1.14 trillion in the previous quarter. That translates to the average consumer holding $7,236 in balance on their existing cards. I can't express how damaging interest can be. Oftentimes, we don't talk about the interest rate because the goal is to never experience that and face that head on. However, in many of the cards, it's over 20%, meaning there's no way you can earn 4 to 5% in rewards that could ever counterbalance the weight that 20% interest on an outstanding balance will put on your finances. Situation number 3 is when you get too many credit cards and things just become too complicated. Now, this is an easy trap to fall into. In fact, I struggle with this pretty constantly, even just managing my own wallet setup. And I'm only rotating through about 7 credit cards for different purposes on any given month. You have people who are juggling a much more complicated setup. Shout out to Anthony Venture, who about a year ago made a video ranking his top 15 credit cards. And that's just a whole nother level. But regardless on where you're at in the scale, managing your credit cards and keeping your finances organized is the foundation to any good wallet setup. Tips that I personally use is I set all of my credit cards to pay off on the same date. Then I also have every card set to auto pay with money coming drafted from the exact same checking account, so it's easy to track the flow of money going out after I've spent it. Finally, I always suggest you find some sort of way to track your finances once a month to just look back, do a recap, and see that everything stands where you expect it to be. If you don't properly manage a ballooning wallet setup, you're going to end up running into more headaches than the benefits that you get out of these credit cards are worth. Tip number 4 is managing the dreaded application volume. This is so tempting when we see rotating offer bonuses coming up every single month for new and improved offers on some of our favorite credit cards. However, you have to be strategic about how many applications you're putting forward. There are some simple rules, whether written or unwritten. One of the most popular is American Express, where you cannot hold more than 5 of their credit cards at a single time. You're also limited to only getting 2 credit cards in 90 days. And on the other side, there's the Chase 524 rule, which states that you can't have opened more than 5 credit cards from any issuer in the past 24 months, or else you'll be rejected instantly for your next Chase card. Other issuers have their own rules, sometimes not stated publicly, but they're out there. If you stick to applying for a credit card once every 3 to 6 months, you're mostly going to be on the right side, but you're going to want to track and create a strategy going forward for your wallet goals. Situation number 5, where it's time to press the pause button on an application, is when you're running into strain from the spending requirements needed to hit the next sign-up bonus. I'm experiencing this right now with the Chase Inc. Business Preferred card. That card has an $8,000 minimum spend in the first 3 months to receive an incredible 120,000 point ultimate reward welcome offer. Now, it's such a great offer that it was so hard for me to pass up, which is why at the same time we moved into a new house, I figured with all of the upcoming expenses, that wouldn't be such a hard number to hit. However, anybody can find themselves in a difficult situation that only becomes more difficult when the spending requirements on the sign-up bonus become quite high. If you're tempted to chase a high sign-up bonus by using unnatural spending habits, again, this will unwind all of the value that you're getting from the points by spending money where you wouldn't have had before. In this case, you're working for the banks and not making the banks work for you. Situation number 6 is don't apply for another credit card when you have massive debt upcoming. 2 instances that come to mind are when you're purchasing a house or you're about to purchase a car. When you apply for a credit card, oftentimes your credit score is going to take a hit due to the hard pull inquiry that the credit card company does on your credit profile. This may not seem like a big deal, but a small tick up in the interest rate that you're offered on a loan, that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars over the lifetime of a big loan. For example, say you took on a credit card right before you took on a $400,000 mortgage on a house. A $400,000 home loan at a 6.75% interest rate, well, that's going to cost you almost $540,000 in interest over the lifetime of that loan. However, say your credit profile has been active and your score's taken a bit of a hit, meaning that you only qualify for a 7% interest rate on that same loan. Well, that's going to come out to $558,000 in interest over the lifetime of that loan, which is approximately a $24,000 difference. There is no credit card worth $24,000 in interest over the lifetime of such a big purchase. Now, I want to point out, this is totally different than the strategy of opening a credit card before you know you're making a big purchase that you already would have made. That example can be an easy way to meet a sign-up bonus and cash in some really big rewards, potentially getting you 10 to 20% back on that purchase just by opening a new credit card to hit a certain welcome offer. That can be a great strategy, but if you're planning on taking on a long-term debt, the interest rate fluctuation and potentially getting a worse offer from a bank, well, that could just be plain bad business. Situation number 7 is just the timing is wrong with your stream of income. This could be that you've got some uncertainty at work and you could see yourself maybe not being in the same job in the foreseeable future. Or it could be that you're currently not working and strategically holding off until you've reestablished that stream of income. In this situation, I always recommend switching away from points and miles and certainly not chasing any new sign-up bonuses and switching straight over to a cashback rewards credit card. You'll want to be as liquid as possible, and earning straight cash back from the purchases that you have to make is going to be more beneficial in the short term than going after points or miles for travel rewards would be for a future travel purchase. Situation number 8 is if you apply for a credit card and you don't have a plan for that card on your credit card roadmap. Now, credit card roadmap is an exercise that I go through in the channel and have other videos showing you exactly how to do step by step about once every 3 months or at least twice a year. This is where I look at the credit cards that I have, see weaknesses in my wallet, and then plan out what future credit cards I want to add to strengthen that, or take advantage of massive perks or benefits that they may offer. If you apply for a credit card and you don't have a specific reason or plan for what to do with that credit card to make it fit as a part of your overall strategy, well, years from now, you're gonna realize you may have missed out on a better opportunity elsewhere. Sign-up bonuses are short-term, but a long-term wallet strategy is gonna earn you points or miles for the next 5, 10, maybe even years beyond that. So taking the time to optimize and put a strategy into place is gonna pay dividends in the long run. Situation number 9 is if you're prone to overspending. Think twice about applying for a new credit card if you know yourself and you know that you're prone to overspending on said credit card. You have to have a lot of self-reflection here because studies show that spending on a credit card is simply easier to do and spend more money as opposed to spending on a debit card, and even more so than spending with cash. Companies like American Express, Capital One, and Chase spend hundreds of millions of dollars in market research to strategically make their cards as easy to spend on as possible. All of that money is done for one specific reason: to get as much of it from you into their hands as possible. At the end of the day, if you find yourself chasing rewards or treating your credit cards differently than cash, it's time to take a step back and just reevaluate the big picture of what you want to accomplish. All right, that's a wrap. Have you ever fallen victim of one of these 9 situations? Or is there another one that you see that I didn't mention on this list? Last but not least, if you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because you'll see more of it, and it'll also push this video out as educational content that could be useful for the next person out there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.